Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So in today's video, I will be covering this intense autumn storm that is right now beginning to do its intensification phase, if you will. It's gonna bring very strong winds, fierce winds, one would argue, very potent rain amounts across a widespread area. We're looking at numbers anywhere from 3 to potentially 7 inches across portions of Indiana, Michigan, Ohio, and portions of Canada. The Northeast, the South will be all impacted by this. Truly a intense fall storm, and it's going to be occurring pretty much right on the equinox, as tomorrow I think is the official first full day of fall, or that's where it begins. So really, it's an appropriate storm system, and yes, truly something that doesn't happen usually this early on in the season. So I will go over this, show you the details, what to expect, and I'll show you the pattern afterwards, which is a bit less interesting, to be honest. Okay, if we get into this, before we get into this, if you guys are new to this channel, hello, welcome. Consider subscribing, liking if you enjoy the content. Obviously, don't subscribe if you don't know if you like it. I'll only do that once you watch the video. The reason I'm telling you this is just as a reminder. Alright, let's get into this. Also, any comments, concerns, leave them down below. I do my best to answer as many as I can. Alright, first thing I want to take a look at is, well, the radar. And you can see we have a lot of stuff and a lot of meteorological features in just this one radar map that may seem rather, obviously active, but doesn't seem too interesting. Well, there's many things going on here. So, well, first off, we do have a old decaying cold front across portions of Indiana, Illinois, Michigan, and it is very decayed, but now it's starting to gain more steam. What we're also seeing, ignore that little line right there. Let's see. Okay. Well, we're seeing this cold front, but we're also seeing a lot of moisture from the south and from the tropics stream to the north, and that is obviously producing quite a bit of rain for places like Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi. All these rain showers. Nothing really severe, just again copious amounts of precipitation that are going to be funneled all into, well, a very similar area, and that's really this area that I'm kind of circling right here. We'll be seeing the heaviest of the rain. I should add portions of Canada as well. And yes, this area will be seeing a lot of rain, and we have a pretty intense trough behind, right behind this system, and that is prompting some frosts and freeze advisories, warnings for the west and northern locations. Obviously, nothing too unusual. It's about that time of the year for those to start occurring, and they usually occur with any given trough at around this time of the year, and especially with one that is pretty intense like this one. So notice that this system is really located kind of at the front of this trough, but right here in this trough area, that the kind of the southeast corner, is where the winds up aloft are very strong, and I mean very strong. 200 to 250 miles per hour, especially during the fall and winter months. And this system is going to ride up this trough and turn it into a pretty much a vertical storm as it shifts and strengthens. A lot of precipitation into, again, the eastern Midwest area and western Northeast, kind of mid-Atlantic, if you will. So let me show you this. There we have our decaying cold front. Notice all that precip from the south, and we do have that trough indicated by those red lines, and that's all driven by a high pressure that is coming from Canada. So we put this forward. Again, look at that intensification. It forms a low pressure. This low pressure pushes to the north, and again, it stalls out. It's over the same areas for several hours. Here is 1 a.m. September 22nd, which is today, if you will, the 1 o'clock hour for the next 1 o'clock hour, so right, Wednesday early morning, and we see, look, Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, seeing rain, the southeast, the northeast, and look, this low pressure takes a sweet old time pivoting into Indiana, Ohio. Look at that right there. It doesn't even move an inch on this radar, or sorry, on this model from late Thursday into early Friday. Look at that. I mean, that's obviously going to be producing winds, rain during this whole time frame, and it continues even beyond Thursday. Look, shifts to the north. Yes, the rain finally abates for Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, but the heavy rain moves into the northeast, the kind of that cold front that forms from this low pressure, and then it shifts off much further to the north, but still brings in cooler air, which gives into potentially another much smaller system, but that could also bring some rain showers into Saturday and the weekend. So yeah, this may not look significant on a map, but this is over the course of 80 hours, so it's long, it's affecting a lot of people, and it's going to be dropping quite a bit of rain. These rain amounts are going to be heavy because it is a moisture-laden storm. It has definite access to the ocean. Look at all this moisture just streaming upwards. The atmosphere itself around the areas of Indiana, Ohio, Michigan are rather humid. The dew points are fairly high, especially for this time of the year. And that will obviously lead into significant rainfall amounts. Look at this. If we were to take a look at up to hour 138 to encompass this whole storm, there's this stripe, which I think will be a bit more expansive in terms of width than what the GFS is showing. That will be encompassing many areas like Indianapolis, Detroit, Toledo, maybe even Cleveland in 2 inches plus, and there will be a stripe, and I think several areas that get up to 6, maybe even 7, 8 inches, and you can see that streams all the way into southeastern Canada, affecting major cities like Toronto, Montreal, Ottawa, Quebec. Obviously, the further you go up the St. Lawrence River, the less and less of the rain will fall, as it seems the heaviest axis will set up to the north. But again, this is just one model, and a lot of these models have been bickering back and forth with what to expect. But look, Pennsylvania, central Pennsylvania especially, that's some heavy rain right there. And again, that's kind of from that cold front of that system, which will be just sitting over the same area, bringing showers, waves and waves of showers over very similar areas. So, that's the GFS. Let me quickly show you the Canadian rainfall amounts. Again, you can see the 2-inch, the purple is a bit more wider, and I think this is more realistic, extending into Cleveland, potentially Louisville, Kentucky, into Detroit, Saginaw, Grand Rapids, into Toronto. We have also quite a bit across Pennsylvania, Reading, Allenstown, Philadelphia. Just trying to rattle off as many towns as I can here. Richmond, Virginia, potentially, North Carolina, Central North Carolina, seeing some good rain, upstate New York, the Northeast. Many areas are going to be impacted by this. And this, again, only shows half the story, because the other half of this are the really strong winds. And it's tough to show the winds on here without it being kind of underestimated and not looking as impressive. But let me show you this in real time. So there's our low pressure, and really the biggest impact will be felt on the lakes. There are lakeshore advisories all over for the counties surrounding Lake Michigan. The winds downwind the lake will be producing some lake effect showers as well, and that's rather unusual for a system this early out. But yes, lake effect, the rain will be falling on many portions of Illinois and Wisconsin, and especially Indiana. Look at the winds over the lakes, uninterrupted on the terrain. It's a smooth, flat ocean. Yeah, it could definitely get up to 30, 40 knots, and that is equivalent to around 40 to 45, 50 miles per hour. So any craft, especially small crafts, would be having a very treacherous time during this time period. And even on land, there will be gusts, especially around Michigan, Detroit, getting into the 30, 40 mile per hour range. So just a raw day. That if the word raw would be applied to any situation this season, this storm would be bringing it to many locations there. And again, even windy across portions of the Northeast and upper New England. But again, the system finally abates and we see some better conditions. So I showed you the Canadian, the GFS rainfall amounts. Let's look at some high-res models, and I want to show you what they show, because this is kind of more precise, and it doesn't go out as far as we would like it to, but it sacrifices its longevity for its accuracy, if you will. But that's kind of hopeless thinking, because sometimes they are short and inaccurate, which is just the worst, right? So look at this. We have the timestamp right there at 8 p.m. September 21st, which is really when I'm kind of recording this. And notice we see that rain really intensify, right? So again, this is what the radar looks like right now. It's doing a pretty good job of showing that. And in the next few hours, especially over the night, the radar really fills in with bright green colors, red, and that shows heavy rain showers. And we see those isobars tightening. We see that low pressure developing. That's going to indicate very strong winds across much of these locations. Sideways rain, kind of the worst of the worst. And look, we have that cold front starting to develop from that low pressure. And yeah, it doesn't move much. You can see Indiana seeing rain as we speak, right? And by the time this 18-hour timeline is over, they're still seeing rain, and they're not even close to being done with it. And this low pressure is just chilling across Cincinnati area, southern Ohio. Again, bringing rain. And just through tomorrow, 11 a.m., at the end of the morning commute, we could already see many locations with potentially 2 to 3 4 inches of rain. If I could take a look at this older model run that goes out to 48 hours. And look, this is what it shows kind of overall once the storm is done. Let me zoom in on this and look at that. Definitely locations will be reaching 6 inches if a weather model like this is showing 6 inches. As usually, isolated locations go much higher than what the models forecast, because it's really impossible to forecast such isolated high amounts. But yeah, 6, I would say, again, double digit amounts across a few locations. Few unfortunate locations are possible. But I mean, look how widespread that is. That's like again, something you'd see maybe in like a very powerful winter storm, on the rainy side of a powerful winter storm. And if this was cold enough, this would be a kind of a blizzard for that area, if it was obviously maybe a month or two down the line into the fall. Northeast, again, I mentioned also pretty heavy rain. This is just through Thursday, 1 p.m., but you can see already Pennsylvania at many locations, 2-3 inches of rain, into Toronto as well. Decent rainfall, southeast Canada, spilling into most of, again, southern Quebec. And if I were to show you a longer range model that goes out to 60 hours, so still short range, but a bit further out, you can see that this model in particular shows a bit less, but it starts expanding that rain towards the northeast. And let me show you the rain/radar. Look at that. Those could be some nasty storms, and if you get one on top of the other with the characteristic of this low pressure and it's a slow cold front, you could definitely see some flash flooding across the northeast. Hopefully you don't, but again, this cold front could be a bit stronger or weaker than what this model is showing. Hopefully it's obviously on the weaker side, as you don't really need much more rain there. Especially a lot of it, right? So the NAM 12 km, a model that goes out even further. Let's just play this through Wednesday. You can see right there's a low pressure. This is now into late Wednesday, early Thursday, still affecting Indiana with rain. Finally starts moving away by late Thursday, Friday, but it kind of starts affecting the northeast. Not as much rain for the northeast. It's much more progressive, but by the time all is done, you could see most locations see over half an inch, and I would say up to 2 inches is possible, especially for Pennsylvania, Virginia, West Virginia, and Maryland. So yeah, Indiana, especially northern Kentucky, that's kind of where the cutoff could be for some of that heavy rain. And look, this model shows the heaviest right there into central northern Indiana. Looking at this model view, you can see it shows some decent rains across the lake, and that's, again, to do with that lake effect, which I think is bizarre to see lake effect this early on, especially just being 100% rain. And this is a good model to show us that. Look at that. It starts today at 9, 8, 10. Look at those lake effect rain showers. Obviously, very heavy rain occurring across Indiana, Ohio. In Michigan, Kentucky, West Virginia, maybe even some powerful storms. And look, those lake effect showers, I mean, it's a classic. If this was just colder, this would be a classic blizzard with the lake effect and the snow and the wind and everything. Just too bad it isn't, all right? Because I love snow, and this would be cool to see snow out of this, but obviously it's a bit too early for that. But again, if we just see systems like this during the fall and winter, it gets cold enough and there would be snow out of this. So I don't think it's really an omen of what's to come, but hopefully. And notice that, yeah, that definitely takes a sweet old time to spin away. Once it does, obviously, it does end up leaving a lot of rain. The NAM 3KM advertising some amounts getting up to, well, yeah, again, the double digits, which I wouldn't say is uncalled for. So that's really all I wanted to show you. I did say we could look at the widespread pattern later on. I do apologize. I was focusing mainly on the Midwest and the Northeast and the Southeast with this system. But again, I just focus on where the weather is occurring. If there was a giant storm hitting the West, I would be talking about that. But you could see it's just going to be generally warm and dry for much of the rest of the country. And I think that pattern is going to spill in overall for the majority of the U.S. Later on, you could see a few little waves pivot and a few chilly air masses, but no big systems. You could see this is at this point a week from now. We start seeing some type of activity towards the Northwest and Texas, but again, it's really not connected. This GFS model does finally form a system by Thursday. Again, mainly just rain, no snow, maybe a bit in southern Canada, so that's definitely probably our next system to watch for. And yeah, just little air masses, cold fronts, nothing too extraordinary at this point, I would say, which you could say is a good thing. Yeah, again, it varies from model to model. You could see the GFS last model run showed pretty big snow across Montana. The newest one, as you just saw, didn't. Here's a one from 6 o'clock in the morning showing a rather warm pattern, I would say. Rather warm and dry. You can see the temperature anomalies are definitely favoring warmth, which there will be a few pockets of cooler air, especially if a system like what we're having right now occurs, and that brings cloud cover, winds, and whatnot. So That's basically it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe. Obviously, turn around, don't drown on the roadways. That stuff, it will be probably occurring in vast quantities across Indiana, Michigan, to portions of Ohio. And you can see this thing is quickly filling in terms of the radar colors. So just stay safe. Stay warm, as it will be getting chilly. And yeah, just kind of sit back and enjoy the rain, especially if you've been needing the rain, and enjoy this meteorological almost phenomena, I would say. I mean, such a storm obviously isn't rare, but at this time of the year, it's definitely unusual, and it's always satisfying to see these radar echoes just kind of, I don't know, this is what I do in my free time. Call me a loser, but it's pretty satisfying. All right. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe. See ya. Bye.